When she screamed that I wasn't good enough, I just stood there holding the soup I had spent hours making for her. My hands were shaking, not from anger at first, but from hurt. It was one of those moments when you realize no matter how hard you try, some people will never see your worth. My mother-in-law was recovering from surgery, and I was the only one taking care of her. Every day after work, I came straight to her house, cooked her meals, cleaned up, and made sure she had her medicine. Her daughter, Emily, lived just 20 minutes away, but somehow, she was always too busy. And yet, when I mentioned that, her mother glared at me and shouted, "Emily is better than you in every way." That sentence burned into me like fire. I didn't say anything back, but inside, something changed. That night, I drove home in silence. My husband tried to ask what was wrong, but I just said I was tired. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the ways I had tried to earn her approval. Every meal, every errand, every kind word, and for what? To be told I'd never be good enough compared to a daughter who didn't even show up. The more I thought about it, the more something inside me hardened. I realized I was done being the quiet, accommodating one. Over the next few days, I kept helping her, but I was distant. I didn't smile, didn't engage in small talk. She noticed. She tried to guilt-trip me, saying I'd changed, that I was being cold. I just nodded and said nothing. The truth was, I had made a decision. If she thought Emily was better, she could rely on Emily. I started documenting everything I had been doing, photos of the meals, screenshots of text messages reminding her of her medications, the receipts from groceries I'd bought. I didn't plan revenge out of spite, but out of clarity. I wanted to free myself from her emotional manipulation, and make sure everyone saw the truth if she ever tried to twist the story. Then came the day that changed everything. She called me one morning, demanding I come over because she needed her laundry done. My voice was calm when I said, "I'm sorry, but I can't today. You'll have to ask Emily." She went silent for a moment, then snapped, "Emily is busy. You know she can't handle all this." I replied, "Then maybe you shouldn't have said she's better than me." And before she could answer, I hung up. It was the first time I had ever stood up to her. I expected to feel guilty, but instead, I felt free. For 2 days, I didn't go to her house. My husband got a call from her, furious that I'd abandoned her. He looked at me confused, saying, "Did something happen?" I told him everything, every insult, every moment she had belittled me while I cared for her. His expression shifted from confusion to anger. He couldn't believe what she had said, and for once, he defended me. He called his sister and told her that from now on, she'd have to handle their mom's care since she was apparently better in every way. The silence on the other end of the phone said it all. A week passed, and the consequences started to hit. Emily tried to take over, but it didn't last. She came by once, complained about the smell of medicine, and left early. Her mother started calling me again, leaving guilt-ridden voicemails, pretending everything was fine. "I didn't mean what I said, dear," she murmured one day. "You know I was just upset." But it was too late. I wasn't angry anymore, just done. I learned something powerful. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone, it's about stepping back and letting their own behavior teach them a lesson. A month later, there was a family dinner. My mother-in-law arrived, looking frail but quieter. The air was thick with tension. She barely spoke during the meal, and when she did, her tone was soft, almost careful. She looked at me at one point and said, "You've always been kind to me." I shouldn't have said those things. I didn't say anything grand in return. I just smiled politely and said, "I hope you're feeling better." That was enough. After dinner, my husband pulled me aside and whispered, "You handled that perfectly." And for the first time in months, I felt peace. I didn't need her validation. I didn't need her apology. I had something stronger, my self-respect. Later that night, as I scrolled through old photos of all the meals I had cooked and all the nights I had stayed up worrying about her, I deleted them one by one. Each delete felt like a breath of fresh air, like shedding a layer of emotional weight I'd carried for too long. In the end, I learned that not all revenge is dramatic. Sometimes it's as simple as walking away, letting silence do the talking, and allowing people to sit with the consequences of their own actions. My mother-in-law never shouted at me again. She knew she had lost the only person who truly cared enough to help her without expecting anything in return. So to anyone out there who's ever been told they're not good enough, remember this: you don't have to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it. The best revenge is not to fight for their approval but to rise above it. If that story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated or disrespected, only to prove someone wrong by living your best life? And of course, subscribe for more stories that show that karma always finds its way back.